What a mess.
Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Steven. As you can see behind me, this shop is a disaster. I got to get it all cleaned up. Maybe not today, but I got to get it so that when I do start cleaning up, I can be organized, because I got to know where I put everything. This floor here needs to be painted. So that means everything's got to come up off the floor. And when I clean it up, I got to know where I put it. So today, I'm going to build a way that I can organize everything. You know what? Let's just get going. I love these boxes, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to use these boxes to put everything in. And each box will have a certain set of tools or parts or whatever. But I got to make a system so that I can get to each box. So today I'm going to build a rack to put them on. So let me get some materials and get going. Well, I have my boxes laid out here, and this is my basic design. I'm going to have 6 rows of 3. And each box I'll be able to pull out without disturbing the boxes up above. And then after I get that built, I'll try to figure out how to make a row, maybe 2 of these little ones if I feel like I need it. And the whole thing is going to sit on casters so that when it's time to paint the floor, I can move the whole thing out. And then I'll organize each box to know what's in it, so that when I need to find something, just look for the correct box. I got an idea in my head on how I want this to go, but I'm kind of making it up as I go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one riser here, and then at the appropriate height, here's my riser right here. At the appropriate height, put a rail. And the bottom tote will slide in on that rail, and then there'll be another board, and then the next board will go this way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this out, lay out my last one, and my middle one, and then once I get it all laid out, I'll show you what I got. Well, I finished putting all my layout lines on my boards here. I was kind of struggling with knowing for sure that the boxes would slide in on the distance I laid out. So I made a little jig, and I tried it out on my boxes. I like it. So then I transferred this, made my marks on where each upright's going to go. So then I'm struggling on the order of operations to putting this together. I don't know if I want to build my uprights first with all my cross pieces and then attach them, or just put the uprights on here and then attach the cross pieces. And I think that's what I've decided to do, because it would be a lot easier to attach my uprights if nothing else is attached to them. And then, so let's try that. now that it stopped raining, I can go back to work. Well, while it was raining, it was too noisy to film. So I went back and forth on whether to put a middle row in. When I first thought it in my head, I said, yeah, it'll be 3 rows. And then I said, no, I don't need that. Then I said, yeah, I do. So I put it in. Now looking at it, these boards there need to be on the bottom. Otherwise, I don't have enough room to put my totes in. I didn't calculate for that height being there. So now I got to take those off, move them underneath. So that's my next step. Okay, ready to put this first one on. What I've done is cut some spacer blocks, and I'll just clamp these on. Put the one over here. Okay, now put this on. I don't know if one's enough or not. I'm running out of screws. Maybe I'll just put one in for now. Okay. All right, that works. Once I get my top board on, be a little more steady. So now I got to work out the distance for next one. Well, I just stacked 2 more on there because it looked close. And as you can see, I'm almost out of space. So I'm going to reposition these and move them down. I don't need all that space at the bottom. So a little bit of a hiccup, but I'm just making it up as I go, so no big deal. Good thing I tested it though instead of doing that whole row. All right, back up. All right, getting closer. Just finished cutting this one. Just got to put it on, and then the next one. Let me get that done. Then it'll be time to cut up some more boards for all the cross runs. Somehow, I didn't cut near enough of these. So, I went and bought a whole thing of lumber that I need to cut up. Got to cut them in half and then rip them. So let me get to cutting. All right, got my first board on here. Built myself a little stop over there. Should be easy to cut. Woo! All right, I got one left. I'm going to leave it just in case I counted wrong. Whew. All right, got back out here early this morning. Got all these runners in except this last row. So let me continue to show you how I do that. Go ahead and put one of those on there. And then come around here. Put one of those on. Sure would have been good to have a second person helping me on this. A lot of back and forth. But went pretty good. Take that on. Put that one on. Come back around here. Over to the other side. Last one. Put them screws in the middle, then we'll move on to the next step. Next step is put these casters on. I had plans to make these rigs. You can see them all over the internet where the casters it's kind of hard to explain, but you can just press it down and that pushes the casters to the floor and lifts up the object. And then you move it around and then you press it and it goes back down. But I don't have time to make that, and my initial design I don't think will work anyway. So what I'm going to do is put these casters, two here and two here, put this board underneath on this end, then one on the other end, and then a board in the middle. Kind of temporary, but knowing me, it'll probably be permanent. So what I'm going to do is mount these casters on this end here. Just going to use some lag screws. I think that'll be all right. Let me put the rest of these casters on, and then I'll bring you back. All right, got the casters on. Now the question is, am I strong enough to lift this thing up and get a block underneath it? Let's see. Oh, just barely. Is that going to be high enough? Nope. Got to get higher. All right, I got a board here. Oh my gosh. How am I going to do that? Looks like it's time for my crane. That'd be the easy way. Give it one more try. Okay, I got it. Woo! Oh, this one's easier. Oh, now my board's in my way. Golly. Okay. If these screws ain't strong enough, I'm sure I'll find out soon enough. All right, I need to clamp that on. Yeah, that's better. Left all my screws over there. Okay, let me put the rest of these screws in, the rest of these casters on, and then I'll finish up, show you the finished product. Check it out. Look at there, man. I think that's amazing. Let's see how it works. Just got to load it up. Now, I got to get all my stuff, figure out what goes in what box, move stuff around, whatever it takes. Fill this side up, fill the other side up. I couldn't be happier. Move it around when it gets in the way, move it outside when I need to paint the floor. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this project. Hope you enjoyed it, because I enjoyed making it. And I hope to see you again next time on My Retired Life.